to talk a little bit today about numbers. You know, we bought this house, closed on it about 30 days ago. Obviously, you can see that it's in a state of rehab right now. And so when we bought it as is. And I thought I was going to have to go to a hard money lender, going to charge me 3%, you know, up front, 12%, and then hammer me, you know, if I didn't get the thing done on time. That didn't happen when I had a conversation with Patrick. And so we just talked a little bit about what it was going to take. We'll take you inside in a few minutes and show you that it's just all framed out. I mean, it's got the electrical, it's got the plumbing, but then we went to the county, and the county says, you got a lot of red tags. And I don't know a whole lot about construction, but I do have a great team around me. And so when they called it red tags, I was like, I panicked. And they go, whoa, time out. Not that big a deal. Hold on. So we go in, and I had a great contractor that looked at it, went to Patrick, and he showed me some, you know, what he could do with his company. I'll let him talk a little bit about what they do.
Homebridge Financial is actually the largest and #1 renovation specialist in the country. Just want to put that out there real quick. Chris and I are friends, and our kids go to school together right here at this lovely school down the block. And he was talking to me about hard money. He had to go to somebody that was going to charge him 12% and 3 points and all this. And
I was sweating.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, I can do that too if you want, but I don't think it's necessary.
Right.
With Homebridge Financial, we actually have a home style loan, which allows people like Chris, investors, to come in, buy this home. As you see, it's a shell of a home, and put a lot of money into it. Okay, he's going to get every bit of that money back and then some after. I mean, it's a great investment. I'm not going to go spoil your numbers, but he's going to make a lot of money. We're going to try.
Into this house, you know, the owner let me in, and the owner, just to let you know, was a hard money lender. He had taken this back from a woman who got in over her head, and she didn't have the right contractors, didn't really know the kinds of things that she needed to know, and this really dragged out for 3 or 4 years. And so when I walked in, I see a framed out house with electrical, the plumbing, the HVAC, it's all right there. And I thought, this is amazing, because most of the houses that I go into, they've got walls, and I don't know what's behind the walls, and I gotta guess, and I've got to think worst case scenarios. But I walked around and I thought, well, it looks like a lot of this stuff is done. I don't have to do it, you know. But then when I talk to Tim and I come in here with his eyes, it's a whole different story.
So to the normal person's eye, you look around and see a lot of nice windows and clean framing and things like that, a lot of electrical work, and what you realize from a trained eye real quick is that there was a handyman involved. And I have nothing against handymen. They have a place in this industry, but some of the stuff that was done was not up to code, was not up to spec. And in turn, what would happen is if someone who wasn't knowledgeable didn't call in a licensed professional to look around and take a look at stuff, once all these walls would have got closed up, then when they went to get their 4-point inspection, they wouldn't have passed it. Insurance would have had issues, would have problems with the county, so on and so forth. So luckily, Chris was smart enough to bring somebody in that knows, maybe not me, but somebody else maybe, to get in and take a look at it. And get guidance in the beginning. And I see that a lot, that people just get in over their heads because they don't know what they're getting into. So in a normal situation, a normal person will come in here and look at this and say, this window is installed and everything looks fine. But as we pull it back, we start realizing that we have breaks in our studs with an inch gap in between them. So in turn, this is actually a structural component to the house. And this structural component holds up the roof. And here we have a gap. I mean, I can stick my finger in there. That's not good. Underneath, we should have another stud here to help support the bottom side of this window again, because we're holding the structure of the roof above it. Things like that people don't understand or wouldn't realize that. The strapping, this strap for our 4-point needs to continue across this stud into here and up over the top, where we're missing a complete stud here. Like, we don't have a drain line hooked up. The drain line is out here, not connected to anything. It's off in the wrong spot. It's not connected properly. And little things like, you know, as Chris said, hey, how can I utilize this space better? Knowing the energy codes, we know we can insulate the attic, so we can actually move this mechanism up into the attic to open up this closet and get usable space. Things that you wouldn't necessarily know unless you knew the codes that can offer additional value to a home.
You know, you can talk about, this is your master bedroom, you know, and you talk about vision on a house and how you want to make this as aesthetically pleasing to any buyer that comes in here. This is the master bedroom, and when you look up, the return is going to be right over their bed, because this is where the bed's going to be. So every time you lay your head down, you're going to look up and see a return. That's not what you want to look at, right. But it's a really easy fix with somebody like Tim coming in here. We just take it and move it over and move things around in the right way. But anybody else would go, oh, just throw it anywhere. Well, you can't just throw it anywhere.
That doesn't sell right.
Right.
And at the same token, we can't just move it to someplace else. There's proximity to ductwork and so on and so forth to make sure that air is not coming out and sucking right back up in again. So though we can make it aesthetically pleasing to the new buyer, we also have to make sure that it's mechanically sound and proper.
When we first looked at the plans as to where everything was going to be placed, the kitchen was going to be here, and this is like, I think, about 12 by 15, maybe 15 by 15, something like that. And as we started looking at it, for a 2,300 square foot house, this, 15 by 15, kitchen didn't even leave room for an island. And every house these days needs to have an island. And they were going to use this over here as the dining room. And we started looking at this going, wait a second. This huge space, this is where the kitchen needs to be. And so the kitchen now is going to be along here with a huge island here, and you can't see it with the camera, but you'll have a visual of the entire living room. So when you have family gatherings, what was going to be the kitchen is now going to be the dining room. You'll have the living room. Everybody can sit here, talk while they're making dinner, look at the game on TV, whatever's going on. This is just going to be a great house for family gatherings, parties, whatever you want to do. But the original, wasn't going to afford that. So that's the other thing that you need to look at, and which is great with, finding the right contractor who said, yeah, that's not a problem, because we looked at where we're going to put the drain lines, got to bring the electrical in. Right. This is a concrete foundation. I look at Tim and I go, geez, if we got to, by code, you were saying you have to have the electrical, you have to have the plumbing into it, yet we've got a huge concrete slab. Now what do we do? And you turned to me and you said, it's $200 in a day's work.
Right. So
no big deal.
Yeah, having someone who's done this before, obviously it's not, a lot of people say, just move the kitchen from here to there, and all of a sudden it becomes a major undertaking, because it's not just as simple as saying, but having someone who knows what they're doing and having done it numerous times, it's not that big of a problem.
I don't know, you just have to stop by. He's just a friend of mine from school, and another investor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
you don't want to get in on the video?
No, he's not.
This video's going to go all over the place.
Oh, it's going to be big.
It's going to be huge. It's going to be huge, Tampa.
Looking at this house, obviously you've got to know what the numbers are in the community. So we did our comps and found that there was a house that was about the same size that had been renovated in 2017 that sold for $379,000. Same square footage, same kind of amenities and so forth. And so that was kind of where we thought we could make it. Even though the market's gone up, we wanted to shoot lower. So we're looking at our after repair value of $380,000. We were able to buy this house for $180,000. Our closing costs were $11,000, which is a little bit more. And Patrick, maybe you're going to be able to touch on that a little bit. But it's anytime you do a renovation loan, there's some inspections, there's some other kind of fees that go in there. The interest rate is a little bit higher right now. The prevailing rate was around 4.5%. We had to pay 5.5%. But that's okay. It's certainly better than 12% on a hard money loan. The acquisition cost total all in was $191,000. And it always goes up. You knew that
was that the bullshit meter?
so anyway, but the renovation cost in here, because I had a contractor come in, we looked at it, we went over all the contingencies, $80,000. So all in is going to be $271,000 with an after repair value of $380,000, and of course the HGTV value is going to be $109,000. And if I was Tarek and I had Christina on my arm instead of Patrick, I'd be saying, all right, on to the next one, right?
But I apologize for that.
Yeah, well, you do the best you can, but you're still free. But anyway, you have to know more than that. And what we did is we factored out 12 months in holding costs. And I'll show you that over here. What we looked at is you've got to have calculated in your interest, your taxes, and insurance. And I know on this particular loan, my interest charge per day is $37.43. Calculating that out by 365 days, you come up with about $13,660. Taxes around $3,000, and the insurance $1,600. So that's kind of what you have to put into that. You've also got some fees for TICO, you know, maybe $100 a month or whatever, but that can be put into the renovation costs. But if I didn't calculate this other $18,000 into this, and I only looked at the 109, well, I'd be sorely disappointed, and I might go into a deal that wasn't going to be a good deal later on down the road. The other thing that I have to factor in, and I just do this generally, is 9% in sales cost. And so calculating the 9% is another $34,200. So the holding cost plus the closing cost, $52,000. Well, that has to come right off the 109 if I have to hold this for another, you know, year before we can finally sell it. So the actual profit is $56,540. Nothing to sneeze at. I mean, still, that's a great profit. But if you're looking at a house, let's say that my profit on this was only going to be $40,000 or $50,000, and I hadn't factored this stuff in. This is where you got to get the right team. I mean, I got to tell you, there's a lot of great realtors that are out there. If you're looking for investment properties and you're looking for a realtor to be a part of your team, make certain that they know how to do these kinds of calculations, that they don't just tell you this. You know, ask them up front, how do you calculate these kind of things? What do you do? And if they're not going to tell you about this, you might want to go on and try to find another one, because like I said, there's a lot of great realtors, but you got to find the right one who can also bring the right team together.
So, talking about teams, so I brought in Homebridge Financial, and we're the #1 renovation company in the nation. I also have a team of concierge. I just hand this loan essentially over to my concierge after I do the initial numbers with Chris. They take it over. They do hundreds and hundreds of these monthly. And so getting back to one of Chris's points about closing costs, now this does include escrows, and the higher rate was just because he's an investor. Okay, we're a direct lender with Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. This is actually a Fannie Mae product, which we are direct, and the rates are actually a lot better than what I give Chris. So sorry about that.
Yeah, thanks for that.
That's what friends are. That's what friends are for. So anyway, it's because he's an investor, and there are FICO adjustments. I'll get into all of that another time. But this product is not only made for people like Chris, and it's also made for you have a realtor that's listing a property, and this property has blue carpet. It has a very old kitchen, a very old bathroom. You can actually sell that property as an after market value property. You don't have to just say this is what your property is going to be. You have to have vision and actually have the realtor sell that property as an aftermarket property. So you're not actually buying the house per se, you're buying the location most of the times. And that opens up a lot of avenues for these realtors that are selling these.
Awesome.
I got to get on this call, but I will. It's not going to be a long call.
All right, man. Thanks.
Because I got some more points. I got a lot of points here.
Man, he's got a lot of stuff in that head.
I see that. Yeah.
You wouldn't know it by looking at him. He's got a lot going on.
I know
up
it's a big head.
He's got a lot going on.
So when Chris first asked me to come out, we did an inspection on the outside of the house and started realizing real quick that, again, someone who wasn't a licensed professional was doing the installation of the plywood, the siding, the tie-back, so on and so forth, and realized real fast that it was subpar. So we'll have to come back in and nail off some more sheathing, replace some that's got some water damage to it because the tie-back was not installed properly, and just, again, something that an untrained eye would not have seen.
No, one point I do want to make, whenever we list a house, we always talk to our sellers, and we tell them you need to do a full-on inspection, just like a buyer would do right up front, and be able to see what's going on in your house. When you ask about foundation, the outside, the roof, inside, looking at all the electrical, you need to have an inspector come out. And I'll tell you, most realtors, they'll tell you don't do that. Don't do that at all, because you're going to have to, disclose all that information, all the good, the bad, and the ugly about your house. Well, our thing is know that up front, and if you know that up front, go ahead and repair it. A lot of times you'll get a bill, in 10 days before it's supposed to close, and they say, oh, you've got an $8,000 repair on the roof. Well, you don't have time to go shop. You don't have time to bring 3 contractors in and really see if it's going to cost you $8,000. If you do that up front, it may only cost you $2,500. You get it repaired. The other thing is you'll know once you've got something under contract, there aren't going to be any hiccups when they come and do the inspection. You know what you've got. You've got that peace of mind. And the other thing that I think is sometimes lost in this conversation is the buyer's agent. They only get paid. They only get paid when there's a commission. Okay, when the house closes. That's the only time they're going to get paid. Well, if a buyer's agent is looking at a number of houses and sees in the MLS where your home is advertised that this has had a pre-inspection and it's passed it, and you're showing them exactly what's wrong, I'm telling you, the buyer's agent's going to go, oh, I'm showing them that house because I know I'm getting paid. So that's what you want as a seller. You want an incentive for that buyer to show up to your house. I mean, that's going to set you apart from so many other houses, and that's what we do. Plus, our whole values with the Tampa Bay Real Estate Report, you know, and with Keller Williams, it's about transparency and just being honest. We want people to be happy on both sides. Hey guys, I hope you've enjoyed listening today. I hope you've learned something. At the TampaBayRealEstateReport.com, there's a whole lot of information that you can get. We're going to keep updating you on this house maybe every couple of weeks, show you what's going on. I'm guaranteeing it's not going to be all pretty. We're going to have some hiccups, but we're going to share those with you, and we're going to tell you exactly what's happened because we want you to be aware of what you're getting into. This isn't going to be HGTV, it's going to be real TV. And if you want to contact me personally, contact me on my cell phone, 727-859-SOLD. That's 727-859-7653. And I'd love to talk to you. If you want to talk about real estate, want to meet for coffee, I love talking about real estate. You know, I'd love to make your dreams come true. Good luck.
Yeah, exactly.
With the commission check.
Yeah. Yeah, with that envelope full of money.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Yeah. Yeah, if we could throw a few bada bing, bada booms in there, and you just haul ass on out of here, that'd be great.
Hey, till Tuesday. Yeah, and that sinkhole in the back, that's oceanfront. Yeah.
It's a pool. It's a pool.
I mean, I don't know.
Stranger things have happened.
CNBC?
Yeah,
I was
Hey, you know, hey. I tell you.
Yeah.
Amazing people. No. Amazing people attract each other. You know what I'm saying?
And then I show up.
No.